There's a bottle of it sitting under almost every kitchen sink in America. You've squirted it onto a greasy skillet 1,000 times without a second thought. But that little blue bottle of Dawn is one of the most quietly powerful products in your entire home, and most people are only using it for about 1% of what it can actually do. It cleans dishes, sure, but it also unclogs drains, saves wildlife, kills garden pests, wipes out fruit flies, and can knock a serious chunk off your monthly spending on cleaners, sprays, and specialty products you're probably overpaying for right now. So before you toss that bottle in the cart out of habit, stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at Dawn the same way again. Let's get into it. Number 1, rescue burnt and baked on pans. Let's start with the obvious one, except we're going to do it the smart way. Dawn works so well on grease because it's a surfactant, which is a fancy word for a molecule with two ends, one that grabs onto grease and oil, and one that grabs onto water. When you add it to your sink, it essentially surrounds every little droplet of grease and lifts it up so the water can carry it away. That's the whole trick, and it's the same science that makes it a powerhouse for everything else on this list. But here's where most people give up too early. When you've got a pan with burnt-on, baked-on gunk that won't budge, don't stand there scrubbing until your arm falls off. Instead, squirt a generous amount of Dawn into the pan, add an inch or two of hot water, and let it sit for 15 to 30 minutes. You can even bring it to a gentle simmer on the stovetop for a few minutes to speed things up. The soap works its way underneath the burnt food, loosening its grip on the metal, and what took 20 minutes of elbow grease now wipes away in seconds. That's a scorched pan saved from the trash, and a replacement you didn't have to buy. Number 2, pre-treat grease and oil stains on clothes. We've all done it. You're eating a burger, a drop of grease lands on your favorite shirt, and by the time it goes through the wash, that oily shadow is baked in forever. Grease stains are notoriously stubborn because oil and water don't mix, so a normal wash cycle just pushes the water around the stain instead of lifting it out. This is exactly the kind of job Dawn was engineered for. Put a small drop directly onto the grease stain. Gently work it in with your fingers or an old toothbrush, and let it sit for a few minutes before tossing the item in the wash as usual. Because Dawn is built to break the bond between oil and fabric, it dissolves the grease so your washing machine can finally rinse it away. This works on food grease, motor oil, cooking splatter, even those mystery oily spots that show up on collars and cuffs. Think about how much you spend on specialty stain removers, or worse, how much you spend replacing clothes you thought were ruined. A few cents of dish soap can save a shirt you love and keep your closet out of the donation pile. Number 3, make a streak-free glass and mirror cleaner. Store-bought glass cleaner runs you around $4 or $5 a bottle, and you burn through it fast on windows, mirrors, and glass tables. The good news is you can make your own for pennies, and it works just as well. Fill a spray bottle with warm water and add just a couple of drops of Dawn. And I mean a couple, because too much soap is what leaves streaks behind. Give it a gentle shake, spray it onto your glass, and wipe it down with a microfiber cloth or even a sheet of newspaper. The small amount of surfactant cuts through the greasy film, fingerprints, and dust that build up on glass, while the tiny concentration means it rinses clean without a cloudy residue. The reason this works so well is that most of the grime on your windows and mirrors is oily, skin oils, cooking vapor, dust that sticks to that film. Water alone just smears it around. A whisper of Dawn breaks that grease down so it lifts right off, leaving glass that actually squeaks. One bottle of dish soap can replace years of glass cleaner purchases. Number 4, unclog a toilet or slow drain without a plunger. Here it is, the one that'll save you at some point, probably at the worst possible moment. Picture it. The toilet's clogged, the water's rising, and you don't have a plunger handy, or you've got guests over, and the last thing you want is a plumbing emergency. This little trick has rescued more people than they'd ever admit. Squirt a generous amount of Dawn, about 1/4 to 1/2 cup, directly into the clogged toilet bowl and let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes. Because Dawn is slippery and heavier than water, it sinks down and coats the clog, acting as a lubricant. Then pour in a bucket of hot water from about waist height. Important, use hot water, not boiling water, because boiling water can crack a porcelain toilet bowl. The soap lets the blockage slide free, and in most cases, the whole thing clears without a plunger ever touching it. The same principle works on a sluggish sink or shower drain that's gummed up with grease and soap scum. Pour in some Dawn, follow it with hot water, and let the surfactant break down the greasy buildup coating the inside of the pipe. It won't fix a serious mechanical blockage, but for the everyday grease and gunk clogs that slow your drains to a crawl, it's a genuine lifesaver, and it beats an emergency call to the plumber, which can easily run you a couple $100. Number 5. Build a fruit fly trap that actually works. If you've ever had a cloud of fruit flies take over your kitchen in the summer, you know how fast they multiply and how impossible they seem to get rid of. A single fruit fly can go from egg to adult in about a week, so an infestation explodes overnight. But you can wipe them out with a trap that costs almost nothing. Grab a small bowl or jar and pour in some apple cider vinegar. The sweet fermented smell is irresistible to fruit flies. Then add just a drop or two of Dawn and don't stir it in. Let it float on top. Here's the clever part. Normally, the surface tension of the liquid would let the flies land and take right back off. The dish soap breaks that surface tension, so the moment a fly touches the liquid, it sinks and can't escape. It's the same principle scientists use in insect research, and it works incredibly well. Most people see results within hours. You can cover the bowl with plastic wrap and poke a few small holes to funnel them in, though even an open bowl does the job. For pennies of vinegar and a drop of soap, you'll clear out a swarm that would have had you buying disposable traps or bug spray all summer long. Number 6. Make a natural spray for garden pests. If aphids, mealybugs, spider mites, or whiteflies are chewing up your garden, a soapy spray is one of the oldest tricks in the book. Soap sprays have been used to control insects for over 200 years, and the science is simple. For small, soft-bodied insects, the soap penetrates and disrupts the protective waxy coating on their bodies, causing them to dry out. It is a physical effect, not a poison, which is why it targets pests like aphids while leaving hard-shelled beneficial bugs like ladybugs and bees largely alone. To make it, mix a very small amount of Dawn, roughly a teaspoon per quart of water, and spray it directly onto the pests. And this next part matters. It only works on contact while it is wet, with no lasting effect once it dries. So you have to actually coat the bugs and repeat every few days. Now, one honest heads up. Dawn is technically a detergent, not a true soap. And used heavily, it can burn or stress your plants. So keep the concentration low. Test a small area first. Avoid spraying in the hot midday sun. And rinse the leaves with plain water after a couple of hours. Used carefully, it saves you from buying pricey insecticidal sprays. Just respect the plants while you are at it. Number 7. Kill weeds in driveways and sidewalk cracks. Those weeds forcing their way up through the cracks in your driveway, walkway, and patio don't stand much of a chance against a homemade spray, and Dawn is the ingredient that makes it stick. The classic recipe is white vinegar with a bit of salt and a squirt of dish soap. Here's the role each part plays. The vinegar's acetic acid is what actually burns the weed's leaves. The problem is that weed leaves have a waxy surface, so plain vinegar just beads up and rolls off. That's where Dawn comes in as a surfactant. It breaks the surface tension so the vinegar spreads out and clings to the leaf instead of sliding away, giving the acid time to work. Just a quarter teaspoon per quart is plenty. More doesn't help. One big caution, because I want to keep this honest. The salt in this mixture builds up in soil, harms earthworms and beneficial microbes, and can linger for a long time. So only use this on hard surfaces like driveways, cracks, and gravel where you want nothing to grow. Never in or near garden beds, lawns, or around trees you care about. Aim for the leaves on a warm, dry day. Use the right way in the right spot. It replaces expensive commercial weed killers for the cost of pantry staples. Number 8. Cut grease off pets, hands, and more. Here's a fact that surprises almost everyone. When there's a major oil spill and rescuers are washing crude oil off pelicans, sea otters, and sea turtles, the product in those sinks is Dawn dish soap. Wildlife organizations like International Bird Rescue tested the top cleaners on the market back around 1978 and found Dawn worked best, tough enough to strip crude oil off feathers, yet gentle enough not to irritate the animal's skin and eyes, and quick to rinse away. Procter & Gamble has donated countless bottles and hundreds of thousands of dollars to these rescue efforts ever since. So what does that mean for you? It means Dawn is safe and effective on grease that ordinary soap cannot touch. If your dog rolls in something oily and disgusting, a little diluted Dawn will cut through it. Just keep it out of their eyes and rinse thoroughly. If your kids come in with bike chain grease or motor oil on their hands, a dab of Dawn takes it off when hand soap just smears it around. Mechanics and gardeners have used it for years to degrease their hands at the end of a filthy job. That same grease-cutting power that saves wildlife is sitting right there under your sink. Number 9, make old jewelry sparkle again. If your rings, earrings, and necklaces have lost their shine, you don't need an expensive jewelry cleaner or a trip to the jeweler. Most of the time, the dullness isn't damage. It's a film of skin oil, lotion, soap scum, and everyday grime that's coated the metal and gemstones. And grease film is exactly what Dawn eats for breakfast. Fill a small bowl with warm water and a few drops of Dawn, and let your jewelry soak for 10 to 15 minutes. Then gently scrub around the settings and under the stones with a soft toothbrush to reach the spots where gunk hides. Rinse under clean water and pat dry with a soft cloth. Diamonds, gold, and platinum come back to life with surprising sparkle because the soap lifts away everything blocking the light from bouncing around inside the stone. A quick word of care. This is great for hard stones and solid metals, but be gentle or skip it with soft, porous, or delicate stones like pearls, opals, and emeralds, which don't love soaking. For your everyday diamond and gold pieces, though, it's like a free professional cleaning at home. Number 10, get crystal clear, fog-free glasses and mirrors. This one's a small trick with a big everyday payoff. If you wear glasses, drive with foggy mirrors, or fight steamed-up bathroom mirrors and shower doors, a tiny bit of Dawn can keep them clear. For your eyeglasses, put one small drop on each lens. Rub it around gently with your fingers, then rinse and buff dry with a clean microfiber cloth. Not only does it cut through the oily smudges and fingerprints better than breathing on them and wiping with your shirt, it also leaves behind an ultra-thin film that helps resist fogging. That thin layer changes how water condenses on the surface, so instead of forming a haze of tiny droplets that scatter light, the moisture spreads into a clear sheet you can see through. The same trick works on bathroom mirrors so they don't fog up during a hot shower, on car windshields and mirrors, and on swim goggles. Wipe a thin film of Dawn on, buff off the excess, and you've got a fog-resistant surface. It's a 2-second habit that replaces the pricey anti-fog sprays sold for a small fortune at the store. Number 11, whip up a reusable, moldable ice pack. Next time someone twists an ankle or you need to keep a lunch cold, you can make a reusable cold pack out of nothing but a zip-top bag and some Dawn. Here's the neat part. Because of its makeup, dish soap doesn't freeze rock solid the way water does. Toss a bag of it in the freezer and it turns into a cold, slushy gel instead of a hard block of ice. That gel-like texture is exactly what you want in a cold pack. Unlike a bag of ice cubes or a frozen water bottle, a Dawn pack stays soft and moldable, so it wraps around a knee, elbow, or ankle, and actually makes contact with the sore spot instead of sitting there as an awkward hard lump. Just fill a heavy-duty freezer bag about halfway, squeeze the air out, double bag it to be safe, and freeze it for a couple of hours. When you're done, it goes right back in the freezer to use again and again. Always wrap it in a thin towel before putting it against skin, and keep it clearly labeled so nobody mistakes it for something else. It's a reusable first aid staple and a cooler pack in one, for the cost of a squirt of soap. Number 12, degrease the stove, range hood, and cookware. Your kitchen is where grease goes to hide, and the greasiest spot of all is usually the one nobody thinks about, the range hood filter above your stove. Every time you cook, airborne grease gets sucked up and trapped in that mesh filter until it's a sticky, clogged mess that can't do its job, and greasy filters are a real fire hazard. Here's the fix. Pull out the metal filter, lay it in the sink or a large pan, and pour boiling water over it with a big squirt of Dawn and a scoop of baking soda if you have it. Let it soak for 10 to 15 minutes while the surfactant breaks down all that baked-on grease. Then give it a quick scrub and rinse. It comes out looking close to new. The same soak and scrub approach rescues your greasy stovetop, oven racks, sheet pans, and that gunky film on the backsplash behind the burners. Warm water, a healthy squirt of Dawn, a little patience while it does the chemical heavy lifting, and the grease that used to take forever wipes right off. It's the cheapest degreaser in the house, and it beats the harsh, pricey oven and kitchen sprays hands down. Number 13, lift oil stains from concrete and clean outdoor gear. Finally, let's take Dawn outside. If your driveway or garage floor has ugly dark oil stains from a leaky car, you don't need a specialty concrete degreaser. Cover the stain with a good amount of Dawn. Add a little hot water to make a paste, and let it sit and penetrate for 20 to 30 minutes. Scrub it with a stiff brush, working the soap into the porous concrete where the oil has soaked in, then rinse it away. Fresh stains lift easily, and even older ones fade dramatically with a repeat or two. That same grease-cutting muscle makes Dawn perfect for a whole range of outdoor jobs. Mix a few drops into a bucket of warm water, and you've got an all-purpose cleaner for grimy patio furniture, weathered plastic chairs, dusty garbage cans, filthy trash bins, coolers, and your car's greasy wheels and tires. Because so much outdoor grime is a mix of oil, pollen, road film, and dirt bound together by grease, a plain water rinse barely touches it, but a soapy Dawn solution breaks that bond and lifts it right off. From your driveway to your patio to your car, one bottle handles cleaning jobs you'd otherwise buy 3 or 4 separate products for. And there you have it, 13 ways that one little blue bottle can save you real money all year long. Who knew dish soap could do this much? So the next time you reach under the sink, remember, it's a whole lot more than a dishwashing product. Which of these tricks are you going to try first? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this helpful, do us a favor and hit that like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.